Unlocking Marital Bliss. Good afternoon. Cyrus Road is my name. Right here at Unlocking Marital Bliss. I'm just so excited that I can be able to share with you this very afternoon, that I can be in your living rooms, I can be wherever you are watching from. And I'm so excited because tonight we're doing this from the beautiful, exotic Lishi Resort Hotel in Kisasi. This place is so beautiful, so amazing services. There's one thing about me in life. I love beauty and I love quality. And that's what I've found in this place, Lishi Resort Hotel. Yes, you can find them out, call the number, and hey, get the best. Gardens, everything, rooms is just to the T. Yes, so that's why I'm here. I love beautiful things. And tonight, I'm so excited because I have my usual suspects in the house. Many of you have been looking for them and wondering, what happened to these people? What's going on? We need to arrest them. No, you don't have to. I got them here. And they're going to be able to talk to us. And we're going to be sharing and teaching on parenting. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. We're going to discover what parenting is and all this. This show coming all the way from Lishi Resort Hotel in Kisasi, right in the suburbs of Kampala City. Those of you that are watching us from Malawi, from South Sudan, Burundi, Rwanda, Kenya, Tanzania, Zambia, Zimbabwe, my God, we're coming to your rooms everywhere on this big network, UBC TV. Tonight we want to talk about parenting. And I'll take this opportunity to welcome my usual suspects on set. You all know them, those that don't know them. And for their sake, I'll take a moment to be able to have them introduce themselves. And this time we're going to do gents fast.
Brian is my name. I'm glad to be here on the show. And I'm always looking forward to speaking to you, learn from these great men and women of God, and also to say hello to people watching, especially my family and my wife at home. And yeah, well, I'm grateful.
Oh, you got a wife at home?
Yes.
Wow, what's her name?
Angie.
Angie?
Yes.
Is she French?
She's
kind of sounds French.
true Ugandan.
True Ugandan?
Eh.
Oh, wow. True Ugandan.
Yes.
So Angie, all the love from the set up here. They tell me you're a true Ugandan. I thought you're French, but anyway, when I hear Angie, they're telling me you're true Ugandan. That's love from your husband, Brian. Okay, and I would like to go to the only lady on set.
The one who can manage to be sandwiched by these two men.
Yeah. She's not a joke.
Winifred Zizinga is my name, and I'm happy to be here.
Good to have you. And I think since you're the one trying to hold two men and keep them
At arm's length.
I want to see what you really have. Tonight I want to talk about parenting. The holidays are here. Many of them have come out. And we really want to dig deep into this thing called parenting. Because many times people talk about it, people say it, but what is parenting? I'll start with Winnie.
Parenting, it should be teaching and passing on skill to a child.
Okay. Teaching and passing on skill to a child. Okay. That's parenting. Now we're trying to define it. And I'll ask Brian, what is parenting?
Well, I would say in a nutshell, it's raising children. Now, this incorporates discipline, what we call today discipling, what Jesus did for us. It's passing on the knowledge, the experience, the revelations, the journey. You walk with these children so that when they grow up, it's easy for them to make the right choices. Okay. So it's raising children, pretty much.
It's raising children.
Yes.
So now we agree, you said it's
Teaching children and passing on
teaching
skill.
children and passing on skills. Now, we want to bring both together. So if it's teaching children and passing on skills, now you want to tell me that actually parenting is about being able to teach, And then you said raising children. So that means the raising involves the teaching, the training, the discipline. All together, you come up with the word raising, which actually defines parenting.
That's right.
Uh-huh. Okay, so if that is how we come out and we talk about parenting, and then it means raising children requires discipline, teaching, admonition, personal skills, and all the good stuff, loving them.
Love it. And listening.
And listening. So those are some of the traits that are needed in order to raise the children. So you've mentioned the teaching, you've mentioned the discipline, the personal skills, the admonition, warning, and all this. Would I be correct if I said all these in a nutshell, you're passing on love?
Absolutely.
In other words, to raise children means to love children.
True.
And that means if I am not raising children, I am not loving them.
Now, someone out there is going to say, "No, do you mean I don't love my children?"
That's what I meant.
So let's...
And they're probably, their children throw tantrums, abuse people along the road, and they're trying to ask you a question across the screen.
I think there are two things. Now that we're talking about parenting, this is going to be so big. Now, because we've zeroed it in, if you're parenting, you're loving. If you're not parenting, you're not loving.
So we need to dwell a little bit on the love bit.
That's now where we're going.
Well, when we're talking about love, we are talking about the original founder of the family unit.
Okay.
Because it's called love. And his name is Jesus Christ. It's God.
Amen.
God is love. This is what he says uniquely. You cannot say you love God and who you have never seen.
Okay.
And you do not love your neighbor who you see.
Yes.
So as a parent, I must have received
love.
God's love. Now, when I say this cautiously, because some people think my upbringing has the major problem of me raising children in a godly fashion. So we keep blaming our parents or dysfunctional homes for who we are. And we forfeit our responsibility of loving our very own children.
Yes.
Now listen, our love comes from God.
Yes.
Does not come from our dysfunctional circumstances, things that happened before.
Yes.
They happened, yes. But those guys were just stewards.
Yes.
They were just stewards.
Of us.
God is the original creator of me.
He's the one who brought you in the universe.
And he has a purpose for me.
Yes, sir.
This is what he said in Genesis 1, I think, verse 28, if I remember correctly. 27. Yeah. He says, he blessed them, saying, go and multiply, be fruitful, have dominion, multiply and have dominion. Yes. So that's a mandate that every man has. Yes. Now, man, you'll explain, because some people are not understanding, man means two people. Yes. A man and a woman. Yes. So he gave us a mandate to be able to carry out his mission. Yes. His mandate. Mm-hmm. So I can't blame my dysfunctional family
for not obeying God.
For not obeying God.
Now that begs me the question, Pastor Cyrus. Who is meant to parent?
Who is meant to parent? I think before we bring in who is meant to parent, we need to totally dissect this thing, the love bit. The love bit that he's been talking about, that talks about being able to receive love before you can give it. Yes. Most of us as parents have never received love, and we blame our parents. And that is actually, this blame game is a game of victimhood.
Have you allowed yourself to even receive the love?
That's where you see, if I have not really experienced love, I'm always against it. And I don't even know that I'm against it. Because I'm rebellious, and I always want to have my way, and nobody tells me anything. And if there's what has been done in our generation and in cultures years ago up to now, I think what Satan has done is to destroy the man.
He wouldn't know love even if it stood right before him.
Even if it stood right before him, to destroy the man. How is he destroying the male? Let me use the word male. How is he destroying the male? He's destroying the male in this way. This is what Satan is doing in destroying the male. You see, when the male loses love, he pumps himself up.
Trying to accommodate.
He uses ego, the pride. In other words, when he loses, let me show you what happened in the Garden of Eden, because now we want to deal with love.
Yes.
Adam shows up. Adam rebels against God. And when Adam rebels against God, what does God do? He comes out, he says, hey, notice, the woman ate the fruit. Nothing happened.
Yes.
Our males need to get that.
Yes.
When the woman ate the fruit, nothing happened.
Yes.
Then she gave to the man, and everything happened. In other words, the man was the foundation. The man was upholding everything. Irrespective of what a woman does, the man has the power to save her, rescue her, and save the family.
That's right.
It goes back to us. So in this whole setting, the woman did what she did. You get the picture. And she gave the man. The man ate. Then both of them were naked. Now, when they realized they were naked, then shame came upon them, so they sewed fig leaves around them. Now, I want you to understand something called shame, okay? Shame, that humiliation, you know, that state of being found out for not being who you are.
Yes. The real you get scared of it.
Real you gets scared of the image. In other words, now you're like, what am I gonna do? So the real you is not who you really thought you were, and now you begin hiding the real you, so that if you don't hide the real you, then you won't be accepted.
That is it.
You see, that brings depression in a man.
Now, that's that depression that you're bringing up.
And you can't say that I'm depressed.
And you can't
So you rule people.
Now, you remember you're hiding the real you.
Yes.
So Adam hid the real him
Yes.
behind the leaves.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
Behind the image.
Yes.
And then he started saying the only way we can do this is put up an image.
Yes.
But it's turning inward.
Yes.
The reaction of shame is to turn inward, not outward. That's why anybody who gets ashamed does not pull out a face.
No.
They hide. That's what shame does. They hide. Now, a man not knowing who he is anymore, he has disconnected from God the Father, but he wants to have dominion.
So he rules.
So he operates by ruling. He believes if I can make orders, then people do them, then nobody ever gets to know who I am. I am covered.
So in other words, you're saying, Pastor, that many of the men watching us today have begun to set their own rules away from what God designed for a family.
Yeah, they design rules to enable them cover who they are.
But you just said he's the man.
But he doesn't know who he is. If he knew who he is, it would be love at play. Let me show you this. Shame hides. You get me? So you come up with an image. You look at the way guys reach out to a girl. You know what? Hey, hi, babe. You look so beautiful. What's going on? You know,
Do you know who I am?
do you know who I am? My name is actually Do. And by the way, I just returned from California, and I just came back, and you know, I pull out my Range Rover key, I put it on the table. I pull out the Mercedes key, I put it on the table.
iPhone 14.
My iPhone 14, I put it on the table. So I start by boasting. And this is what most women don't understand, and men even don't understand. Love does not boast. So you can't, you look at the fella and you say, wrong. Bing, red light.
You've forgotten the phone call from Brian about the cars in the bond, the 14 million, yeah. It all sounds good.
It all sounds good. So you
See,
boss.
Pastor, you see, this is the picture that we want. We want a father like that. A father who will spoil the child, who will buy them a car as early as they graduate from, at 13 years of age.
Now, let me tell you the danger with that father. He doesn't know who he is. And I know there's no, I know who I am. No, listen, you don't. This is what happens. Love does not boast. And what is he doing?
He's boasting.
He's boasting. Love does not boast. And then you listen to women who say, oh yeah, I like that kind of man. Yeah. And you know why you women believe that? Because you equally don't have love. You don't know what love is. You think a man who comes and tells you, I own these buildings and everything, you look to them in a way like animals would look to their fellow animals, And they say, okay, that one can take care of my children. If I give birth, he can furnish my children.
Even my village will be built.
Even my village will be built. Now that's transactional.
Let me throw a spanner in the works. Maybe you lean in and Winnie will lean in on this. Is it the same as our parents, the older generation, not this other generation, the older generation, where they would say, me, I would walk. Is that an expression of love? I would walk from Mengo to where? Like Kireka, and I would carry you on my head. And you here, you don't know that I've loved you that way. I've loved you so much. Is that in a way, were they trying to show love? Or sometimes is it a way of intimidating you to be in line?
You see, I think it comes with both answers. Yes. Intimidation and also teaching. Yeah. Two things. Yes. But remember, if there is no love, it becomes intimidation, yes. Manipulation. Remember the whole thing about the male, I want my control back. Because God gave them dominion at the beginning.
And they want it back badly.
And they want it back, but they forget for this control to be back, you need the other image restored.
That's right.
This dominion is not even given to you to be exercised over fellow human beings. It's given over animals and the earth, not the people that carry the image of God. So now, love is not, in a nutshell, love is not present. Therefore, when love is absent, control takes over. So the guy will ask you, I want to dominate you.
So the guy will ask you, I met this woman out of love. And we conceived. I mean, we made out of love. We got married. She conceived. Now we have children. What are you saying? There was no love. Love is not present.
No, I'll tell you something. You see, there is what you call love, and there is what love is. There's love, there's lust. Then, in fact, infatuation also falls into lust. Absolutely. When you love somebody, it costs you. When you lust after somebody, it costs the other person. When I say I love you, I'm saying I'm seeking for what is good for you at my expense.
Lord. I lay down my life.
I lay down my life. In other words, I pay the bill. Whatever it costs to love you, I pay the bill.
Now, a certain gentleman is standing up to leave.
It's okay. It's okay. That's what I mean. When there is no love, you easily throw tantrums because you're used to control. You're used to manipulation. And this is where the man is. This is where parenting fails because love is not. And even the woman doesn't understand love. So now, remember, we're on parenting. And now we are defining the love bit. Now the whole thing is failing because there is no love.
This is what I'm hearing from what you're saying right now. Yes. That a man needs to go back and have God restore the image.
Thank you. What he's looking for, the authority, the control.
He needs to go back and reattach himself to God. Because he is, what I'm listening from you, he is the initiator here on earth.
Yes.
To be able to bring a covering. So if I get married, she conceives. Because I know who I am, the momentum has already been gained to be able to transcend from the mother to the child. Remember, this woman is like a luminous object.
Yeah.
She will receive my love, and also this love will be able to mirror through all the children.
Yes.
But if the man is dysfunctional,
Yes.
his image is away from himself. He's so ashamed.
Yes.
And then he adopts what did you call it? A sad kind of response to life. His ego is taking root. He's so proud. He's so arrogant. He doesn't know this. It's through the reactions that he's displaying.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you for mentioning that. He doesn't even know.
Yes.
But he thinks
Yes.
He thinks he knows.
he knows. And that happens even among the Christians today.
Yes.
We are having Christian homes being so dysfunctional.
Thank you.
And we are failing as Christian parents
Yes.
to even raise our children the godly way.
And yet we claim to know this love.
Absolutely. Now the man, you have told him he's the boss. That's the interpretation he has.
From culture.
It's from culture.
And
I'm
even
the boss.
some teachings in our churches.
True. I'm the boss. So when he is boss, he is boss nearly only over his wife.
With
ahead.
expectations. Go on.
And the woman is boss over the children. We are parenting.
It's management.
Yes. We have seen these man, wife, children. So he,
Jesus,
yeah.
man,
Wife,
wife.
children.
But even man doesn't.
Let me drop this in. That is a wrong format. It's not biblical. It's not scriptural.
Pastor, when he's suffering, we see the piece of wood bent, and the wife is up there, and the children. And
Those are wrong formats. Just
So now, this man thinks that his authority is given over me, as if to parent me,
so that you parent
the children.
Okay.
okay.
Now, we are having, as we look at parenting, we are having two sets of rules in the house.
That's dangerous.
It's very dangerous, but it's happening. So, mommy has rules, daddy has rules.
See, that's what he said. Let me just cut you short, just a little bit. That's what he said when he said, when a man starts to set his own rules, he has gone off. Gone.
When he comes back at 3
Yes.
In the morning.
p.m.,
Okay.
everyone bursts from the sitting room. The remote is his. Never mind that the children had a cartoon to watch at about 3:30. So he says, every time I show up, the TV is mine. Now we are parenting, so the children know that. When daddy is not around, all hell can break loose.
Yes.
And he would sit there and watch them. When mommy comes home, say, your children, you see, I don't know how you raise them. He has an expectation that he's parenting you to parent these ones.
Now we need to deal with that.
Now, when we are getting into, you mentioned about the holiday, which is very critical, Pastor Cyrus.
Yes.
Now we have rooftop parties
In the holidays.
in the holidays. For some of us who drive up after 8, you look at these children and you wonder whose they are.
There is no love. Every time you see children like that, you just know the fathers and mothers absent. There is no love.
They are dressed skimpy and they left home. I mean, I don't know, unless I'll be blind, if I would allow my Chrisa to walk out in a skimpy cloth. I don't think, unless I just kind of go blind. How does your child do that? It means we don't know them. But when your child gets an accident in a place like that, and we come to the vigil, so everyone is asking, how did they die? You're even ashamed to say where they were found, what they were doing, at what time of the night.
Yes.
And we are parents, not for 1 year, but this is a 16-year-old who has died.
Yes.
An 18-year-old.
Yes.
We are parenting. A 12-year-old, a 15-year-old. And you have had 0 to 12 years to parent. So it begs the question, who is parenting? Is it my responsibility? Is it my husband's responsibility? Is it the community's responsibility?
Before the pastor comes in, this is what I want to throw right in there. You remember the definition we made about parenting? Raising children, in just a nutshell.
Yes.
Raising children. This is irrespective of the man or the woman. Yet,
Yes.
everything has a head. So everything revolves around me as a man, as a head. Not in the definition you gave as a management company, family unit. All right? It's not
Limited.
that limited. I parent my wife to parent the children. There has to be a certain discipline. Remember, we are moving, as Christians, we're moving far away from God's design for a family. Let me use an example. In Judges chapter 13, there is a Manoah, the father of Samson. The scriptures are clear. God speaks to the angel and tells her, you've been barren. I'm going to give you a son. Gives her instructions of how to raise this young man because he was supposed to defeat the Philistines.
Okay.
The father comes in. The woman is so excited. She tells him, I have had a visitation. We are going to conceive. Verse 8 says, he goes to God and says, God, the same man who visited my wife, let him visit. Now, this man is exercising what needs to happen in a home setting. You see, we parent together.
Yes.
When you have an inclination of something, because the ladies, men don't agree, the ladies sometimes have a perception which is far beyond what we see.
That's true.
And we just need to align. When you tell me something, like when Sarah told Abraham, chase this woman away.
And it was very divine.
And it was divine. He went back to God and said, God told him, listen to what?
Your wife.
Your wife. So it's very divine. So what happens is that the angel comes back and talks to them both about the instructions of the boy. This is parenting.
Yes.
This is leadership.
Yes.
A leader has to be able to have gone before.
Yes.
Experience life different. That's why God sometimes takes us through events as men. You hunt for the money, you do what? Not to torture the children, but to steer them into a certain path.
Yes.
And lay a foundation for them.
When they're old?
That when they're old. Now, God is very smart. He says, I will give you a helper.
Yes.
Someone who can see the vision and help you channel it. If you're going the wrong way, say, I saw this vision.
Yes.
We are not going that side. We are going this side. If you're falling, you have someone to hold. Solomon says that a cord of 3 is not easily broken.
Yes.
They will hold you and say, we can parent these children together.
Yes.
Now, a man who is very dysfunctional, who has never accepted God's love,
Yes.
they are full of ego, pride, and they don't know. They're actually watching the program, waiting for what we will. You know, when you watch something and you're wishing, I wish they talk about this woman.
Yes.
I wish hey, that is yours. You see, when they say these women are very crazy, that is for you. Those men, we're not talking about those men. We're talking about a man who has accepted the love and is ready to nurture the children in a godly fashion.
Yes.
Not that, remember, the responsibility of the woman helping me is not that you've been given the responsibility. I'm the one initiating, you're helping. You understand that point? So the discipline cannot be left to the woman.
Most of us are the ones who discipline
I cannot say, you wait for your mother. You will see what I'm going to tell her.
Oh my God.
You know, even the
sometimes even wait for your father because daddy is terror.
Yes.
They run away.
When he
Yes.
comes home and
Wait for your father.
yeah, wait for your father.
Or even those ones you talked about who go for the parties in skimpily dressed clothes. You know what fathers will do sometimes? I leave the girl now. Let her dress.
Do you know why all that is happening again? Bringing even merging what Winnie brought forth. It's love.
True.
And somebody's going to say, man, you keep talking about love. Tell us something more. Love. You know, if you don't understand this, all this chaos is around failure to understand love, failure to demonstrate love. Because one, when a man believes that I'm in here to parent my wife so that she parents the children, that is ignorance. You're not called to parent her so that she parents the children. No. In fact, the responsibility is given to you, like you mentioned earlier on, that you receive the love from the Father. In other words, parenting has an origin, and the origin is Jesus.
Now, do you mean the man who's been paying fees, buying clothes?
I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there.
Don't shake our table.
Don't shake, leave the tables. We got a lot of good tea going on here. So look at this. You stand as a man, you receive love from the Father, because as you're parenting, remember, you're a steward.
That's right.
You don't own these children.
Yes.
These children are owned by
But
God
I'm the one
himself.
who gave birth to these guys.
No, well, you see, even your sperm is not yours. So I'm trying to help you men really get to your positions. Even the sperm is owned by God. Even the power to swim is of God. So you really have nothing, let's be honest. This whole bragging and boasting and pushing your chest up and, you know, pointing your nose up in there is just, ignorance is just a level of not knowing love.
Yes.
You get the picture?
That's right.
So you don't know love.
Yes.
And when you don't know love, this is what happens. You end up trying to grab control, thinking that what you're missing is control.
I want you to just delve, because
When you fail at love, you think you're missing control. When Adam was disconnected with God, he thought he had lost control, but he had lost love,
I like that.
not control.
I like that.
That's why from then, every man is trying to control. Get a woman you can control. Get a woman you can control. Get a woman you can control. I can't control a woman who's a vice president. Oh, I can't control her. No, you're not called to control her. You're called to love her.
Pastor, let me just ask you a question right there. Is that why some of our parents used to say, hey, now you've grown up, when they're disciplining you?
Now you've grown up, because to them it's control. They just punish. They don't discipline. They don't, and discipline is of the Father. The Father sets the rules, having received them from Father God, which is the Word of God, sets the rules. Mother is willing to flow with the rules because she knows where they come from and is there to enforce. They are now what? One, and parenting begins. But mother won't enforce rules if mother is not loved. We're going to come in a second. We got to take this break right now. You're going to come back and find out why exactly mama won't enforce what you're coming up with in a second. Unlocking marital bliss. Unlocking marital bliss. We're back. You're still watching Unlocking Marital Bliss with Miss Iris Rod, and I'm always glad that you can always tune in. And before we took this break, I was bringing it out, dealing with a man.
Yeah.
And I said, why? You know, the man will come in and do whatever he does. I repeat, when a man fails at love, he settles for control.
Yes.
You get the picture? And in control, you will manipulate, you will dominate. I'm the man, I'm the boss, I'm this, I'm this. No, it's a sign that you're doing bad with love.
There are some who are silent, but they are very controlling.
Yeah, you see, control doesn't necessarily need to come out and you bark like a lion or you roar. There are different ways you do it. Silence until you do what I told you. I ain't gonna say a word until you do what I told you. That is selfishness. And you know what? It shows I actually doubt who I am. I don't know who I am. There is no love. When there is no love, Brian, Winnie, you use your suspects. There is no parenting.
I feel a question she wants to ask.
Pastor, my husband or the man out there is saying, how can you say I don't love my wife? I bought her a car. I buy her good clothes. I buy the children clothes. Every time she needs money for anything, she lacks for nothing.
Okay, let me answer that. Sir, you have all those questions and you have all the justifications that you come up with. I have good news for you. And by the way, you forgot something there, Adam. As long as he provides.
Yeah. And the sister is saying, as long as he provides, my husband really loves me. He gives me this, he gives me that. We went on holiday.
But don't you dare touch his phone.
Please don't
Absolutely.
change the channel. Please don't change the channel.
But you know, like they tell us, if you want peace, leave the man's phone alone. So I don't bother myself with his phone.
Girl, let me help you. You don't even know what love is. So you're settling for your nonsense and you call it love. I'll be honest with you. When a man loves a woman, there's a price to pay. And the reality is, you say, oh, he does all these things to me. Do you sit down and he opens up himself to you?
Most probably not.
Thank you. Does he tell you, does he give you his phone and he say, it's okay? Does he share with you about his businesses? Does he tell you of some of the challenges that he's going through?
Maybe not.
He's a man.
Because most of the time, you'll find that the woman will say, the sisters out there will say, well, I mind the children, at least he gives me everything. So
No.
You are parenting alone.
But he's not giving you the most important thing, and that's himself.
So maybe throw light on feelings and love, because that, I think that's where.
Now, let me show you something here. Feelings and love.
Yes.
Look at this. You see when he said, I give you. You can give things, and I keep telling this, you can give without loving.
Yes.
But you can never love without giving. Look at United Nations, World Food Program. Those guys will carry their stuff to you, but they don't love you.
No.
You get me? You're in hunger, they'll bring it. It doesn't mean they love you. No.
It's a humanitarian thing.
Humanitarian thing, help one another, not love. Okay? Their mission, so, not love. But when I love you, even if this is the only cup of tea remaining, and I'm hungry, and you're hungry, I'll give you mine.
When you're the breadwinner in the home.
Yeah, because I don't win bread for me.
Remember,
I win bread for you. So I lay down my life for you. I sacrifice. I spend everything. The reality is this. When I love somebody, I spend. You get it? I care. Whereby you don't even have to tell me, my hair needs a do. I need this. Because I care, I plan. And this is the reality, Winnie, Brian. The only evidence that I love you as a man, I'm vulnerable to you.
That's what I was going to say, Pastor.
So
I am vulnerable. As long as I'm not vulnerable, I don't love you.
As long as you don't give me you.
I don't give you me. I haven't given you anything.
So what we're saying here is that even in the first stage of relationship, marriage, this is going to affect the generation that you're bringing up. Because if I'm not loving her or giving myself, then it is harder to divide this selfish me to her and then to
Now you brought it out. Because if I can give myself to her, there's no way I can give myself to the children. So what am I going to do?
I'm going to cause her to.
I'm going to cause her because now I'm afraid of losing love from the children. I also want children to love me.
Yes.
I also want children to accept me.
So I parent her.
So I parent her to parent the children. Yet real parenting is me loving the children. But if parenting is loving the children begins with loving their mother.
Before we got off for the break, you talked about us being one.
Yes.
And having the rules. We are moving in the same direction.
Yes.
You set the rules. I flow with the rules.
Flow with the rules. But if I don't love you.
Start from there, Pastor Cyrus.
If I don't love you.
First pause. Now, you set the rules.
But I don't dream about them.
You don't dream.
They have to be in line with the origin of fatherhood. That is Jesus.
That's why you won't resist them.
Now, Pastor Cyrus, here is a man watching us out there.
Yes.
Do not sit in the sitting room. Do not until I come back home. This is a dad. These are rules in the house. You do not A, B, C, D, E. You do not do the other. You don't drive my car without my permission. You don't drive. You do not. So there are so many rules in the house. And Sister She is abiding by these rules. So are you trying to say?
You see, in your abiding as a sister, sometimes you even talk, Daddy said.
Yeah, Daddy, because they are not yours. Because initially you said, when you set the rules, I abide, and we're flowing together because we're going somewhere.
Yes.
Now, Sister She is done saying, this man with his cars. There's a fleet of them there, but I have to call you before I take any one of the cars.
Let me straighten this, Winnie. Love. Let me show you this. We fail at love, we settle for control. When Adam failed to love the woman, he started controlling her, ruling her. Now, when I have all these things, I make rules concerning the money, concerning the vehicles, concerning all these, because I cannot love the person.
Now then, Sister She will also come up with the rules.
A subset.
A subset of the rules, or rules, maybe not even a subset, for the children. Because some of these rules, Pastor Cyrus, I have been to homes where you don't drink while you eat.
Yes.
I mean, and it doesn't matter how much you choke on that food.
Now look, we're going to look at this. The rules the woman sets will usually be out of a hit back against the man.
So when Daddy is not around, we can have our water on the table.
The reality is this. Let me make this very clear. I come up with this as a responsibility, as a servant, not as a tyrant, but as a servant. You get me? I get them from the Father who loves me, and I receive love. And what you call the rules are actually simple. We have one God in this house. I'm the Father, but I depend on him. We all worship that God. Because this is what he told Abraham. He said, I chose Abraham because I knew, Genesis 18:19, he would teach his household. So you see where discipline comes from? And then discipline is simply to correct and direct in the proper channel. Hebrews 12 says, he disciplines those he accepts as sons. Now that's a father. So this whole thing begins with us fathers. Now, before you touch the child, love the woman.
Yeah, so that makes
love the woman.
That makes the rules easier because it becomes a lifestyle. Remember, the Father, both of you are believing in the same God.
Yes.
So it becomes a merging of obedience to God.
Thank you.
Becomes a lifestyle. So it doesn't, you see, the kickback is because I have gone away from what the Father needs.
Yes.
And then I begin to set my own principles.
And you set your own principles, not on the things that are major, but other things that are minor. What is the major? You loving. That is major. You loving. And you have to make rules that are in line with love.
Because at the end of the day, the children are going to go.
Thank you. And you're going to stay with the one you never loved. And you
True, they will go. But what are they going with?
now, I love that question. Oh, you brought it out so good. Do you see all these children dressed skimpily, on drugs, dying, weird, almost naked, sex everywhere? They are not loved.
That is true.
And it goes back to us. They want to feel good. You see, when you're so empty inside, you want to feel good. So you want to feel acceptance. And you're going to find acceptance a belonging. Now, you know, when children are yours, you love them. They belong to you. Okay? You spend time working, like you said, oh, but I give this and this. Working is not bad. We are called to work. In fact, both of us, we are called to do what? To work. So we understand each other because I love you. Even the rules we talk about, we agree on them. You get it? I'm just leading. But because at times mama is with the baby here, she easily implements. You know, she easily says, this is how our thing goes. This is how this family is meant to be. You know, that's her responsibility. This is how it's meant to be. And I keep on coming out to make sure anybody who's going against mama, I'm there to make sure I bring you back in line. You get it? I bring you back in line. Because, hey, mama is not just doing stuff by herself. We are one. We are one. But where control is, love has failed. What is love, like I mean? It's spending yourself for this woman.
True. Because now, like Pastor Cyrus, if I backtrack on something that you have said on set.
Yes.
When mommy comes home, everything stops.
Yes.
In your home.
In my home.
Everything stops. Everyone outside
the
house to welcome back mama. Now, when your children go, they have learned something. They will not depart from it.
She goes, I get back home early, and then she went. It happened yesterday. She was coming from the farm, and she came in once the vehicle drove in. Everybody out. Mama is back. Everybody out. And everyone starts walking towards where she is. Welcome back, mama. I'm the first. Welcome back. Welcome back. How was your journey? How's everything? How was this? I am there. I'm being vulnerable to her.
That's the word I was looking for.
I'm being vulnerable to her.
Because as a man, okay, I'm going to ask you a question and then say something. There are men probably who have separated right now.
Yes.
Maybe out of circumstances here and there.
Yeah.
And we are on set and we're talking about loving your children, loving the mom. And for some reason, there is a divide. For some reason. Yeah. I don't want to go there because it's not for this set today. But how do we help a man or a woman who, for instance, the family didn't like the woman and they took the children from her and the man is staying with the children. So this woman loves her children. She wants to instill certain disciplines in them. How do we help, or the man, for instance, how do we help that man who says, I have love for my children, but I don't have access because we went to court and I was told visiting hours are on Tuesdays or holiday, you will have them half holiday. So before you go there, that's a question I would want you to hint in. Then to the thing that she's been talking about a man not being vulnerable affects the children.
Thank you.
If I am not in a place where I can break down and I say, humble myself, and I say, and I ask for forgiveness. Or, for instance, if many times I've seen in families, a woman will buy the food.
Yeah.
and the man has been staying home, he's not working.
Yes.
And it's humbling enough for the children to say, oh, thank you, Daddy, for the food. And he says, well, Mommy, let's thank Mommy first, because she's the one who goes out. I haven't yet started working. Now, when I say that, I'm sure some man is saying, oh, look at this. What are you trying to do? But you see, if you can humble yourself to that point and say, thank you, my dear, for doing this and that for these children, for us. I appreciate it. Kind of speaks volumes to the children, because when they leave, the Bible says, train up a child, Proverbs 22:6, that when he grows up, he'll know there are certain things people like to speak, and there are certain things we like to show. Children grab mostly what they see. So the thing about love that you're saying is very foundational in parenting.
Yes.
Because if I cannot show love to this woman, my wife, mother of my children, then it is not going to be easy. Some people have done it, but it's not going to be easy to show love to these children. They will somewhere, somehow need a great intervention. Please.
Brian.
Yes. To be present.
Papa never goes unless the unfortunate incidents where one dies.
Yes.
But Papa, the Bible calls him an ever-present help in time of trouble. The moments when you think he's got to go, he never.
He's there.
He's always there. When it comes to this whole scenario, you see, courts of law are not love entities.
I'll drink to that. Come.
Courts of law are not love entities.
No, they're not.
And they don't operate on the basis of love. They operate on the basis of control.
Yes.
I know somebody's going to say, no, that's what they do.
That's why I asked that question, because control needs to be broken down.
You get it. So on the basis of control. Now, this whole thing where you feel they're giving me hours, they're giving me this, how did we get to that?
Question mark.
How did we get to that? We got there because we ran control instead of running love.
No one laid down their lives.
No one is willing to lay down lives. So now I'm fighting for my rights. This one is fighting for their rights, and I want my rights. You can't claim rights and fight rights all the time. A woman.
You don't want to serve, but you want to be served.
That is selfishness. You don't want to serve, but you want to be served. That is selfishness. And like you said, we got to be vulnerable to a point that we can accept where we are wrong. But there is an error going on among human beings. When I tell you, sir, you are wrong, I'm showing you your guilt. You interpreted it as, no, I'm actually shaming you.
You can say that again.
I'm showing you your guilt, but you're interpreting that I'm shaming you.
And they've used the scripture in Proverbs. And they've told us, if I call you out, I am shaming our house.
Oh, you go and tell Brian.
I go and tell Brian, Pastor Brian, we need counsel.
No. You're not shaming the house. The shame is already there. And it's got to stop. If I'm a man and I'm called out for coming at 4 a.m. in the morning and not paying the fees for my kids and not being able to provide, and I throw a tantrum and I say you're shaming our house, it's because I've been suffering from shame. I fear who I am. I don't know what love is, and I have an image. So now every time you call me out, you're calling the real me, and then you're attacking this image. Everybody knows this image. So if this image is broken, what are people gonna think? They're gonna think I've come to the end of me. There is no hope. No, I attack. I'm coming for you so that you tear down the image, repent, humble yourself. But when I show you your guilt, I'm saying I love you. And I'm saying God loves you so much and he wants you to change. But when you interpret it as me shaming you, that's you saying, I still want my facade, my mask. I don't deal with this. But you see, giving an excuse for why, for the wrong things you do, does not eliminate the wrongs. It keeps happening. So right now, what we need is the ability for a man watching us to say, I am sorry. For the woman to say, I am sorry. The reason Winnie is talking to Pastor Brian is because Winnie has failed to talk to you. You're not vulnerable. You've closed. There is nothing, you're impenetrable. I mean, you're totally messed up. So she looks for some way to penetrate this shield, this mask. And then when she tells somebody, say, no, you wouldn't have told Pastor Brian. Well, dude, the reason they talk to Pastor Brian is because you've kept the mask on for so long. It's time for you to repent and say, honey, I'm sorry. In other words, make yourself vulnerable. Go to your wife and tell her, where am I wrong? Show me.
In the same breath, you are raising your children.
Yes.
Now, it is so amazing about the way God creates children. Miles can call you out on something wrong without shame.
Thank you. Thank you.
He's 4 years.
But he will call me out.
He'll call you out on something and say, Daddy, this is not right. So what are you going to do? You do not want to show him a weaker side of you, a vulnerable side of you. And he's probably calling you out on something that your wife has mentioned, and you will go to and say, did you tell this child about this and this and the other? And you want to eat up your wife.
No, but you see, you know the way you're describing it is so real. And the challenge we have is that I'm still struggling with interpreting guilt and shame.
Now, Pastor Cyrus, one time a man told his wife, I will not carry you in my car.
Yeah.
And the 3-year-old said, I want mommy in the car. And daddy had said, I will not take you in my car. And the kid said, I'm not going to school. Why don't you want to take mommy?
So before you answer, does that mean that our, I don't want to use this word, misunderstandings or challenges in a marriage should never be exposed to the children?
No, you see, some of these things, these minds are very tender. You get it? And just open. Their conscience is so clean.
Absolutely. And remember, we talked about parenting. We're teaching. We're training.
Yes.
And all this is not only verbal.
No.
Yes.
Even through word and through actions and deed. Now, when my son throws in and says that they're revealing something, number one, I am not vulnerable. Number two, I'm unteachable, but I want to teach. You get it? I'm unteachable, but I want to teach. I set rules which I cannot keep. I'm a hypocrite. And why is all of that? Because I don't feel love on the inside of me. So I'm trying to survive by control and bullying people around, and I fear to be vulnerable. And this is what God does. He will even use a kid to expose me.
When you talked about shame, shame draws from the inside, an empty inside.
There's nothing in, but you want to draw from nothing.
Exactly. So what do we feel? What do you? The emptiness is filled with, I make the money. The emptiness is filled with the accolades.
Yeah. Achievements. I'm a millionaire now.
Yes.
Achievements. That's why they push all men to achieve.
So is that
Think
why,
big.
Is that why, for the parents watching us, is that why many times the mother, because she spends so much time with the children, and the son, one of the sons will say, Mommy, I wish I can talk to daddy about my developments, my changes in my body. And so when I come home and she says, by the way, your son wants to talk to you. So then because, over what? What can't you deal with? I paid the fees. What?
And some men, Pastor Cyrus, Like you have experienced your children young, you're having food, and a kid comes out with the most weird question.
Yeah.
Because it's never had audience.
Yes. And it's your boy child asking something, maybe male related.
Yes.
And then daddy says, ask your mama.
Now, you see, man, we've been embarrassed enough. You're trying to avoid embarrassment, but this is what you keep on doing. Ask your mama. Ask my mama?
And you're switching the subject. Did you see so and so? Did you? And the kid is still lamenting. I asked a question.
Yes. And you see, this is what is happening today. You move with your child to a supermarket and they're throwing tantrums because we did not spend time loving them in private. David was able to beat Goliath because he practiced in private. So as parents, if we can love as a foundation, if we can love,
it begins with the two of us.
In private, yes. Then it is easy for the child to
publish.
And the child grows with that confidence because I have my parents. When I am wrong, they will discipline me.
Yes.
When I am right, they will appreciate. Some parents don't appreciate.
That is it. And that's
Because
they never tell you I love you.
Appreciating you in that manner brings in a form of weakness, vulnerability.
Yes. They never.
Vulnerability. My God. Now, you see, our time is running out. For God's sake, we're just scratching the top. We've not even dug anything yet. And we're talking about parenting. And the beauty is that parenting means loving your children. And today we say, where does love begin from? Begins from the Father, Jesus, and then comes down to you, the man, and then you're able to display it or publish it towards your wife so that you become one. And when you become one, the two of you go and publish the same towards the children, loving them. I believe we need to do the second part of this as soon as possible so that these people will get to know. That's why the Bible doesn't say, children, obey your mother. Children, obey your father. No, it says, children, obey your parents. One. Oh, man. Producer, why don't you just push this thing, UBC, I love you guys. Anyway, my time is up. I got to be running out of here right now, but we got to do a second part to this. Winnie, in 10 seconds. No. Brian first. Yeah, Winnie, you'll come last now.
Well, as a parent, I would speak to fellow parents that we've tried to come up with 10 ways of raising children, 22 ways of listening to if they raise their voice, but we negate the foundation. The foundation is love. If we miss the foundation, trust me, even if you read the self-help books, as many as you can read, you'll still find the same blockage.
Thank you. That's Brian. Hey, 10 seconds for Winnie, the only woman on set.
To the parents out there, as Pastor Cyrus has said it, if you are not connected with the Father, if there is love missing in you, there is nothing you are going to give out. So the only repairs moving forward from today is love. When you love your child, not to love them to spoil them, to love them the way the Father has loved you. That is the only thing that you need to pass on to your child.
Thank you so much. Not to love them, to spoil them. We're going to start from there next time because now today we've laid a foundation and we are teaching nations. That's what UBC is here for. We are going across nations. Thank you for tuning in. And hey, remember, parenting is loving. Just so simple. Parenting is loving. I'll see you next time. And my name is Cyrus Rod. You're still watching Unlocking Marina Bliss now and forever. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on our social media handles. We love you guys so much. And remember, please don't call on that line you see on your screen. Just simply send a text because we can be overwhelmed by phone calls. Send a text and we shall respond. We shall respond. Thank you for the feedback. We appreciate. And I bow out. Remember, marriage is easy, ignorance is hard. Unlocking marital bliss.